Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Carlton Wrap. And as we said last week, we do return for another episode for now. And it's a winning episode, probably the first one I've done all year. I don't think it is, but one of very limited amounts of winning episodes. I'm going to upgrade you to co-host now. You hear enough.
Hear enough. There we go. Got the call up.
You are now co-host of this show. Welcome back. I think I have the right to say I told you so with this game. I just had a very good feeling about it. What are you feeling after that performance?
Yeah, you did call it. You were much more confident than I was. So fair play. But yeah, I think a lot of people had mixed opinions on this game. Oh, not mixed opinions, mixed maybe expectations. I feel like it was a lot of either we're going to get pumped or we're going to kill them. So luckily for us, it fell on the right side for us.
Well, I think I guess with half the team we weren't expecting too much. Freo and the form, they've been in. I guess they beat us quite convincingly the first time, but that's sort of why I was confident this time, because I thought, I feel like it's pretty hard to win 2 games in a row in a season. Like you saw Richmond against us, they sort of, they rebounded off that round 1 game, and I just thought a lot of things were in our favour, even though it didn't really seem like it. And look, the first quarter definitely didn't suggest that things are going our way, but I sort of thought, geez, Freo are playing probably playing their best they could. And we were playing probably the worst we could, and we were still really within touch most of that first quarter and never really seemed out of it. Were you a bit concerned at quarter time?
Not really, because I felt like we were doing the right things. I felt like we had a lot of inside 50s, had a lot of pressure inside 50. It felt like every time the Dockers went forward, they scored. It felt like that. I'm not sure what the inside 50 stats were at quarter time, but yeah, I wasn't like overly nervous at quarter time, because I felt like, we just couldn't score. I feel like that was our big problem. Once we started scoring, we were going to start getting back into the game, so I wasn't really stressed.
Well, the second quarter, I thought we probably could have done more. Even though we kicked 5 goals. Yeah. I'm looking at efficiency stats. We had 83% disposal efficiency, and our inside 50 efficiency was 36%, which is 10% lower than average. So that's quite poor. And to win a game by 5 goals off the back of that is you probably look at it and say it could have been 7 or 8.
Yeah. And
I thought that's what I was sort of confident about.
Yeah, it was the constant just bombing it deep inside 50. I feel like once we started lowering our eyes, and we started hitting up leads, it became a lot more straightforward. So good adapting mid match, because our entry inside 50 in the first maybe 50 minutes wasn't great, and then we just changed it and it worked. So funny how that works, isn't it? You change something that doesn't work and it works.
We just went into that game really prepared for what Freo were going to throw at us, and we probably beat them at their own game in the end. That really quick transition in ball game, we killed them. And got to say, in terms of pressure, that probably was up there for one of the best all season. Yeah, just relentless all game, all around the ground.
Yeah, it was
just especially on the wing. They couldn't progress it up very cleanly.
Yeah, it was constant pressure coming out of day 50, Philip. Just constant, just bombing it out. We'll come back in, bombing it out, coming back in. And it was the much maligned thing coming out of the Richmond game was the pressure wasn't there, especially from the midfield, and maybe the defensive pressure especially. But like we saw, I'm not sure how many inside 50s the Dockers had. I think it was maybe just over 40. I think around about that mark. But to see that improvement from 76 or whatever it was last week is again, it shows signs that we're identifying the problem and finding a solution for the problem. So yeah, it was really pleasing and exciting to see the pressure, because we put that pressure up against any side of the comp, though we will crumble. So it's good to see.
Well, Freo only had 40 inside 50s in the end, which is, you compare it to a 76, that was 12 less than their average all season.
Yeah.
And I'd say Marvel is probably one of the easier grounds to get a lot of inside 50s, and it's pretty much one kick from the centre, like one decent kick. So that is very impressive effort, and I guess they did focus pretty heavily on the clearances, 44 in the end, 2 Fremantles, 30, so they were on top. 14 centre clearances, Freo only had 5, which is like,
yeah,
that's great. That's 1 a quarter really, against a team that has pretty much killed most of their opposition in that stat. I don't know, I think that was like, this game was like a really good, like just solidifying a game plan when half a team isn't there.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to help quite a lot.
Yeah, it showed that our game plan actually stacks up, because a lot of teams, their game plan stacks up and they've got their full team. And we haven't had the luxury of that since probably round 3. Round 3, round 4, we haven't really had the luxury of having our full team. So to say that after a month, maybe 3 games of poor performances, go against Richmond, Essendon, and the Pies, to see it backed up, or to see it maybe addressed coming into this Fremantle game, massive game for top 4 aspirations. Yeah, it's really pleasing. I can't believe I just said top 4 aspirations. That's the first time I've ever said that.
Look, I don't know. I just think percentage is just not going to help us. That's why I'm more like, I would love more to get get that home final. I don't know. I'll be satisfied with a home final. Literally, all you got to do is get top 6 and you're guaranteed a home final at some point.
Yeah, but finishing 4th and versus Melbourne at the G, practically a home final, isn't it?
It is practically a home final. Yeah, there are games. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. There are games that give us that opportunity to fight for it. You got the Geelong game, which
will be a home game for us, regardless.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it will be 4th v 5th or something similar. You know, like one of those games where winner takes that spot. You know, Brisbane will probably, well, if they play anything like they did, they'll drop games. I assume on the way.
And some of the Dockers.
Opportunities. Yeah, I mean, there'll be many opportunities to get those spots, which is something I
don't think the top 6 is set just yet. Just a lot of teams are dropping games. A lot of teams are overperforming, underperforming, and it's about the team that can just capitalise. It's going to come down to, I reckon it'll come down to the last round, but it will come down to which team wins on the weekend that the other team loses. That's what it'll be.
That last round is going to be pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we thought this round, just on a general AFL chat, if we thought this round was built up, imagine last round.
I just don't see it. I can't see any other scenario than Carlton-Collingwood, where Collingwood need. Look, I feel like they'll already have an 8th spot, but I feel like maybe a home final, and like we'll need a top 4 spot. I can't see like a scenario where both teams like don't need anything to play for.
Yeah,
there's just gonna have to be something that.
I really don't want to play Collingwood in a final, or Richmond. I really don't.
Yeah.
I would genuinely rather finishing 6th, finishing 7th, and versing Sydney over there than versing Collingwood here. I genuinely would rather that. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I don't. Surely, Richmond Carlton got what, 95,000?
Yeah, Richmond Carlton finals will get above 80,000 at the G, regardless.
Well, Carlton Collingwood would probably, I would say it would sell out.
Oh yeah,
it would probably be a grand final crowd.
100%. It'd be over 90. 100%. It'd be over 90. Especially if it's elimination. If it's it won't be qualifying, but because it'll be an elimination if it ever happens, or a prelim. I'm not sure what the circumstances is if we can scrape 4th, and Collingwood finish like 8th. Is it a grand final meet, or if we lose?
If that scenario was 4th and they finished 8th, and we lost and they won, we'd play them in a semi.
Oh fuck!
So.
And then if we win, it'd have to be a grand final if we met. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Let's just bring it. Let's bring ourselves back to earth.
Yeah.
Let's
we're still
move on
fit.
to. Well, that is for now. But player talk. Okay, I'll be first to say it.
Okay.
Lockie O'Brien, 5-star,
Okay.
fantastic. I may have been heard saying Al O'Brien 3 votes after that fourth quarter goal, but no, he played well, and that's what I say. That's what a good Lockie O'Brien looks like when he actually puts himself in good positions. He follows up his man. He does all the good right things. He gets himself in really scoreable positions and puts himself in places he can impact games, and he did that, and that's what I'm hoping for that to continue, and hopefully he'll show some consistency.
Yeah.
I thought his first half was still rubbish, but his second half was the best Lockie O'Brien he can produce.
Yeah, I thought our wingers, just in general, him, Kochel and Nunes, all played very well. And I feel like they're all very integral to the way that we play. Because we are so contested based. We are so contested based, we are so stoppage based that teams will look to get us on the outside and look to get us using uncontested marks and to try to outrun us. So their ability to stop that and their ability to get back and cover and then also provide that offensive threat is massive for our ability to negate the opposition. So I thought they all did that brilliantly well. And O'Brien was the creme de la creme of the wingers on Saturday afternoon. I thought he was fantastic.
I don't know. I thought him and Kochel, there was a bit of chemistry in that game. I
felt like they were synergised well. Yeah.
Which I guess comes with just playing consistently with each other. Who goes out when Cunningham gets back? Assuming Cunningham will probably make his way into the 22.
Cunningham starting 22 for me. It's a great question. I don't think you can play Cunningham on the wing, or I don't think that works just yet. Maybe next season if he gets a full pre-season at it, maybe, but I don't think he can change it right now. It'd have to be one of the smalls for me, or it is hard because you have someone like a Jack Martin who would expect to come straight back in. I don't think he should, and then you have Matt Owens who didn't play. It is a tricky conundrum because I feel like it's Zach Fisher and David Cunningham are very similar players in terms of the role that they play. They're mid forwards that are quick, skillful, exciting, go in the midfield for 5-10 minutes, have an impact, then go forward, kick some goals, have an impact. Both classy ball users as well. So obviously you can't take Fish out. I'm not saying that, but I mean, I'm not on the match committee, and I'm happy that I'm not, based on when our players come back, because on form, no one deserves to be dropped from that game, and we got Chara coming back. So
yeah, It's weird. Like with half the team, I can't believe we're sort of saying, "Oh, who's actually going to go out?" Like,
yeah, because it'd be stiff for anyone.
I think it'd be easy, but it's just like, guess when they're playing well.
Yeah. I mean, should we have lost, then the axe would have been
different.
Yeah.
Some just quickly, injury news when we're on the topic of players. Boyd went out late. He underwent scans, acute fracture in his foot. Expected to be out for an extended period, but remains a chance to be available late in the season.
That's great.
That for me is out for the rest of the season, because it just says remains a chance.
Yeah,
so that's
and when he's fit, Williams will be back. These guys will start to be back. So I don't think he'll play again this season. Unfortunately.
If this was 1 or 2 weeks ago, I would have said, well, not a loss, but he's actually played his best football.
Yeah, he was really, really good. Yeah, really, really good.
Like, it's actually now become a bit of a frustrating out
I mean, it's all right because Stocker comes in and should play that same role.
Well, he did play well in the reserves on Friday night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he should come back in. So that's one out. And I guess we're looking forward. We got our injury report yesterday. Chera meant to play. Says a test, which usually test means they will play.
Yep.
Fogarty is another test. Jack Martin is another test, and Matt Owies is another test. Wiedering, although we got told this weekend, apparently it's more likely for West Coast. But I think Lewis Young will do well on Max King.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but Max King is far greater opposition than Matt Taberner. But fingers crossed. I feel like Young is smart enough to mitigate King. Like he's clever enough to understand what he needs to do. I think
we'll move into that later, but there are talking points for that. Let's go. Still keep on the Freo game. Charlie with 4, another Marvel masterclass, you might say.
It's when he kicks goals, there's a different aura. It's different.
You know what? Because it's that built-up energy of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, whatever, where he's just not been there.
Yeah.
It's like he's just smart. Like he's just so smart with the way he puts himself in just good positions.
Yeah.
What annoys me is reading, he just gets the easy goals. It's like, well, why is your forward not smart enough to get in those positions?
Yeah. It's like, how many times there's been a pack in the goal square and Charlie's just not jumped because he knows this ball's going out the back.
Just smart football.
It's just smart forward craft, and for especially for him not being like he's not 200 centimeters, he's not really lanky, but he's just so agile, so quick, and he can kick it 65, so that helps as well. He can get up the ground and really make a difference. So yeah, I'm so happy that he's back up and running.
Well, he only had 10 touches and 6 scoring shots, so what's that? 60% of his touches resulted in a score.
Yeah,
that's efficiency at its highest. And he nearly kicked 5. I think he missed a set shot late in the 4th, so 4-2 he ended up with. If we're looking at goal scorers, Harry 2 didn't really seem to have a heap of impact, but to be fair, I think because he missed those early shots, I feel like he could have had 3 and 4, and we would have probably said the same. But that's the good thing with 2 of them, that rarely both of them have a shit day. One of them's usually going to stand up.
The only shit day I can think of both of them having was Richmond round 1, and our smalls and our midfield did the damage there. So I mean, how good is it having people who can kick goals other than Harry Mackay and a 55-year-old Eddie Betts? It's good, isn't it?
Let's not talk about that. I'd want to figure out it. So Cottrell and O'Brien, they both got on the scoreboard, which is, a good thing, unusual, but a good thing. And Cottrell, probably I'd say goal of the game was that second quarter goal.
Yeah,
that was like
unreal.
Gave me Tom Papley vibes, like the way he was just running like non-stop after it, runs on the bench.
It's so. And the one thing that we always knew he had was that running ability. And that pace and that ability to get up and down the ground. That's not been a problem. It's the footy IQ and the disposal efficiency. They're the 2 areas which have been poor. He's improved tenfold in both those aspects. It's been really, really good to see. And my credit to Nick Oxton, maybe it was the putting him on the rookie list, giving him the rocket up the backside that he needed, because he's been unbelievable this past month. He's been a real shining light in a couple of poor performances. But yeah, so happy that he's doing well.
He was sort of mid-table for disposals, 17, which is pretty average in terms of what you'd expect. That winner to get. Him and O'Brien, they were very similar on the day. 19 touches, O'Brien 17, Cottrell 2 goals each.
Cottrell went at 82%. So
I mean, they played really well.
They did exactly what they needed to do. Exactly what they needed to do.
I mean, the main man of the day, career best from 40 touches. 40 touches for Sam Walsh.
He had a couple of 39s and 38s last year, I remember, but hit 40 this year.
I mean, we always just get stuck. Whenever we just talk about him, we just skip him because what are you meant to say? He's an elite footballer. There's not much of his game that's
he's not.
It's just so good.
He's not. He's the definition of an. So you know that player that is like a 6 out of 10 at everything. Sam Walsh is an 8 out of 10 at everything at the very minimum.
Yes.
So he's just consistent at everything all the time. It is kind of hard to speak about him because it's not like he's not like Cripper, who's our captain and impacts the scoreboard heavily. He just keeps on keeping on, and I'm sorry, it's. I mean, the comparisons to Nick Dacos. I mean, come on now.
I'm not want to get into that conversation.
That's not.
Nick Dacos, he just gets stats. No, and anyone.
Let's not.
Let's move on. I don't want to get started.
But I just want to touch on Sam Walsh also briefly. The one thing that I saw, and I have stolen this off various footy shows over the past few days, but his explosiveness out of the stoppage has been really good. He's got this leg power that he can get the ground ball 2-3 steps and he's gone. And that's something that he didn't have because he's always been this outside runner, this endurance athlete. Now he's developing that power through the legs, through the core to just explode out of contests. His career's in fast forward. He's playing like he's 28 and he's 21. His career is literally in fast forward. Last year we saw he could start to hit the scoreboard. This year it's waned a little bit, but when you have Charlie, Harry back, Cripper, our small forwards, doesn't need to score goals now. And then this year he's like, all right, I don't need to kick goals. I need to start doing something else, and he has. Yeah.
It's just you know what I think? This isn't completely true, but I think a good midfielder is someone who can get touches without you noticing they're touching the ball. I didn't leave that game thinking Walsh has had 40. You think not that you know what he's got, but it's insane. And I sort of want to touch it out. You spoke about that explosive clearance nature of him to just really put himself forward of the ball. I thought midfield-wise, we'd look at their stats, very, very even. No reliance on one player, like we probably would have relied on Cripps to do it all for us in those centre clearances, even just around stoppages. Cripps, Kennedy, 8 clearances, Walsh 7, Hewitt 6. Very even spread.
Yeah.
And that's what I think makes us very unpredictable just around stoppages. You never know who's going to be that spitter, who's going to come through and collect. Very confusing team to play against. And even if they haven't, even when the opposition's got somewhat of an idea, we're prepared.
Yeah, because it's about balance. We have balance in the midfield now. Because you've got, when De Koning's in the ruck, it's practically a fourth midfielder. He's just that agile that he can be below his knees, no problem. And then you've got Walsh, once Chera comes back, and Fisher, who are your more agile ball users type quick players. And then you have Kennedy, Hewitt, Cripps, who are your bulls. And yeah, we always have a midfield balance. You'll very rarely see Cripps, Kennedy, and Hewitt in the same midfield. Fisher, Chera, or Walsh will always be there. So we just found that balance brilliantly. On
TDK, now I'm actually, as much as I wasn't a massive Pitternet fan, he's definitely improved this year, and I've changed my thoughts, but I do want Pitternet back, and before you assume I'm saying TDK shit, I just want TDK to roam around the ground and take those marks.
Yeah.
That is so important, and I've just realised how versatile that can be if we actually have Pitternet there, where TDK can solely focus on that.
100%, because he can do that on the wing, he can do it in defence, he can do it forward. It just allows so much tactical flexibility And like, yeah, his marking is, everyone's raving about the centre bounce work. His around the ground work is fantastic. Fantastic.
I just think it, like, look, I'm not really a huge fan. It's not that TDK is crap in the centre bounces, but he's clearly underdeveloped to most ruckmen he's come up against. And it can be a bit of a liability at times. He always puts in a really good physical shift, but I guess that's probably been the reason for our centre clearances being poor. And that's not, it's not really shitting on TDK, because it's not, like I said, he's pretty underdeveloped to most of the rest of the competition he's coming up against. So it's not really fair to put it on his real ability, because I'm sure that will improve over time. But geez, I'm ready for Pitternet to come back in. It just,
I mean, I thought the coning was good in the centre bounces.
It's pretty.
I think he had eight hit outs to advantage, something like that. So I thought it was good, and I thought he definitely beat Darcy in that area. I think. I mean, if you look at the centre bounces, he might not have won the hit outs, but I feel like he had more of an impact in the centre bounce than Darcy had. And then what else was I going to say? Yeah, when Pitternet comes back, you can have that flexibility of shifting Jack forward or in defence or on the wing or wherever he wants to go, because he can do everything. And then you can have Pitternet, De Koning float in the ruck, and then De Koning can do whatever he wants, taking marks left, right, and centre. I mean, people are saying that, when Pitternet comes back, you have to drop either De Koning or Sauce or someone, or like a forward. No, just do what we did in the first 3 rounds with all 3 of them playing. It worked.
Certainly did. Look, I think that's probably the main part of this game. I mean, I'll just, we'll touch the normal performers. Sard, Doherty played their usual role-playing game.
Brilliance.
So there's not much to really talk about on them. We've got limited time on this podcast today, so let's move on to the St Kilda game this Friday night. First and foremost, the Carlton Respects game. Pretty important for the club, because I mean, they've got a really big program regarding Carlton Respects around gender equality, domestic violence, raising awareness, and I think this is a really good game they showcase each year. And this year they got a Guernsey, so you haven't seen. Pretty much the same, just blue, but the colours are all orange. So
nice touch.
I love it. And you know what? I want next year, like 2009, the yellow one. I want it orange with the blue monogram. Terrific.
I mean, for that game, that would be good. That'd be a good touch.
It'd be cool. I mean, to be fair, I've not seen a yellow one before. Like just a retail or someone's one. And could you? They would sell. They would 100%.
Yeah, that 100% sell. Yeah,
it'd be terrific. So that's the importance of this game coming up for the club. For the football side of it, look, I'm very nervous, and we spoke about it yesterday. Like, St Kilda have been playing very average football, and obviously that Essendon game affected them quite a lot mentally, I'd say. And obviously Radden saying it was their worst performance of the year, and they back that up against Sydney, which was worse by far. It's the same. It's a very similar scenario to what I said about this Freo game, where one of them's got to go your way, and I'm afraid to say that this is that game that will go their way, if there is any.
Yeah, I mean, it is that typical cliche sporting thing. How many bad performances can a good team have in a row before they bounce back? Like, so I'm just hoping that we can just put one more dagger into their hearts and make them really change. But I mean, I think this game will be done in the first quarter. I think if we come out, I think we could tell from the first quarter what's going to happen, because I feel like if we come out, do what we did against like the Giants and just kill the first quarter, kick 4, 5, 6 goals, we'll run away with the game. I feel like they'll be emotionally drained, they'll be mentally done from the game. If they come out, more willing than us and getting to the contest first and being tougher than us, we could be in for a long day. I feel like this could be said and done within the first quarter.
I agree. I think they will come out pretty fiery. I couldn't see. Look, I could see it being pretty similar to what we just saw with Freo, like a very tight game, not many scores, but I could see it being very high scoring as well.
Yeah,
it's very.
Well,
Carlton St Kilda games tend to be pretty good.
Yeah,
generally.
yeah. I mean, it's Marvel Friday night, quick deck, their home game or our home game?
Their home game, which I'm not very happy with, but purely because I don't like when our home games at Marvel are against Vic teams that play their home games at Marvel.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. And if it's a standalone game, then why isn't it at the G?
Yeah.
But I get the agreement, rubbish, whatever. Just I think it's frustrating that home game against that team is at Marvel. But we seem to play Marvel better, if anything.
Yeah, I would rather play Marvel than the J. 100%.
So maybe it's not as bad as what I make it out to be, but
yeah,
it'll be competitive.
It's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a memorable match for whatever reason. I just feel like, I don't know, Friday night, Marvel, one big team and one medium-sized team. With all due respect. Yeah, I feel like this will be a memorable game for whatever reason. Hopefully it's because Carlton win by 150 points.
Let's go back to the whole Max King thing. And this is where I think the loss of Wiedering doesn't make too much of a difference, and I might regret saying this.
Please be careful.
I'll be careful. Look, I'm saying this based off what I've seen all season from St Kilda. They do not distribute the ball evenly throughout their forward line. They do not lower their eyes most of the time, and they will go to King 9 times out of 10 in dumb positions. I really don't think Lewis Young or Jacob Wiedering would matter who was on him, because they all go to him. If you put 2 or 3 go up into a contest, you're probably not going to win much of the ball anyway, the way they bring the ball forward.
It's the way that St Kilda like to play Max King is by isolating him, because he's not a good pack mark. Like, he's not like a Harry Mackay who will pluck it out from 12 blokes, right? He does his best footy when he's isolated on the lead, because he's 400 metres tall, right? So you can't get to him without giving away a free kick. So what we need to do is cause rushed kicks inside 50 that go to a pack, because that means we'll have Plough, Young, Kemp, and then Doc will throw his whole body in it as well, because it's Doc. So they'll limit the chance of King having an impact. And as well as that, being able to get body contact on him so he doesn't get that run and jump and then get those arms out. It's about just being smart. I feel like you don't necessarily need to be an elite defender to stop him. You just need to be clever and work as a unit to stop him.
Well, yeah, that unit part especially, because I think something St Kilda do well against us, they'll present, the tall forward will present, it will drop to the ground, and usually we're not prepared. When you've got plays, Gresham, Membry, Higgins, roaming, Butler, I mean, like, you've got to be very vigilant. You've got to watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I worry that King, I'm assuming King won't have a massive impact. Sure he will, but I think they will definitely be relying on their smalls to win it for them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty good record against small forwards, do we? I can't remember a small forward really getting a hold of us this year.
No, look, really, Richmond are the, like...
2 weeks ago?
Just any time we play them. Richmond are the only team I worry about. Forwards.
Yeah,
they always kill us no matter what we do.
We make Jason Castagna look like an All-Australian, yeah.
Even in round 1, when we won, I still thought their small forwards were just miles better than what we were doing. But I'm just, I just think
I'm just
got to be
hesitant.
very careful.
Yeah, you have to be because of the reaction that the Saints have got this week. We just need to make this game as boring as possible. So that just means being smart and not getting emotionally attached to the game in terms of we need to win. We can't get angry. Like, do you know what I mean by when I say that? We need to just be very disciplined, smart, and just do what works. Don't try and overcomplicate it. Just do the simple things, and then hopefully that should be enough to get the job done.
Like, look, this is what I mean by that game. Like, this is that game, and you could have said this about the Sydney game where it's like win and finals is still like fully on. You lose, you're out. Like if you take away percentage, they're still equal 8th. They're not out.
Yeah,
I guess because of the run they've got, people are writing them off. But I think this game is definitely that lose and you're out.
Yeah, this game will hurt them.
Like I said, they struggle with pressure. Well, they struggle with pressure. It's just such a worrying game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's weird. If you said like 4 or 5 weeks ago losing to St Kilda, you'd probably be like, cool, they're up there. They're a top team as well.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Now the pressure's on us. We're going to favourites.
Which is.
I mean, if you look at each area, I think our forward line eats their defence alive, right? You'd think.
Yes. I don't think they've got. Well, look, Dougal Howard is he's just not very coordinated.
I feel like Charlie's the perfect matchup for Dougal Howard, by the way.
Yeah, he's a weak link, Dougal Howard. Wilkie on Mackay, I'd say will probably be quite a good matchup, and I don't think I could see Mackay totally dominating Wilkie. I think Wilkie's a very smart footballer. He's not so much skill, like gifted skill wise, but he's definitely a smart footballer. I just think whoever's got Dougal will have a night out. It's my opinion.
There you go. There's your prediction. Well, think about it. Like this is the way that we need to think about it by this game. The Saints' entry inside 50, especially in the last couple of weeks, appalling, right? Meaning they can't get the service to King, Membry, whoever else inside 50, right? So, and last week our pressure around the midfield was unreal. So if we just match that pressure, it should be quite comfortable. I don't want to say quite comfortable because I don't want to speak too early, but if we just match the pressure that we showed on Saturday afternoon against that under siege St Kilda side who are reliant on good entry inside 50, who can't really play that chaos ball that well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't really speak.
It's just weird. I mean, on paper, this seems much easier than probably what it will be.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of thinking back at their games, and when you get a run on them, and if you haven't watched our other series, the rest, we said this. The episode will come out tonight when you're listening to this, but I'll say it now that St Kilda don't have plan Bs.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is come in with a plan B if something doesn't go away, and you're probably still going to get on top, which is what we saw Essendon do 2 weeks ago. Their plan A worked really well up until half time, and then St Kilda completely disregarded that. And then Essendon came back out with another plan, and they got back on top again. And St Kilda couldn't rebound that. So
they can't adapt mid-game as well.
No.
And to be honest, I don't think we're that good at that either. I do think that we come in with a plan. If that plan doesn't work, like we come in with a plan, but it's not always the same plan. So we do have multiple plans on how to beat teams. It's not the same way every single time, but if that plan doesn't work, I feel like we do struggle to adapt to mid-game as well. That's probably the only thing which I'm worried about.
Just the general, who would you like to see in the midfield matchups? I love it. I love a Cripps and Steele matchup.
Yeah, that's got to be, right? Yeah.
I love it always watching it.
It's brilliant. You want to say that the stars going up against each other. Yes, Cripps still. Who else is in the midfield? To be
I
honest?
reckon a Zach Jones, George Hewitt matchup will be pretty fascinating.
Oh yeah, two former Sydney players as well, of course.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but two hard nuts, two bulls. Yeah.
And my guess, Walsh will be tagged.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yep. Yeah, I can say that as well. Which is going to be a good test for him because he hasn't been tagged this year. I don't think. I mean, he hasn't needed to because Crip has been dominating, right? But if Chera comes back in, can you afford to tag Walsh? Because I'll just move him to half forward, and then he'll lose his man because he runs more than fucking everyone else in the comp. Like, I mean, Longmuir said we tried a couple of things on Walsh, nothing worked.
It's tough
because he runs so much. Like, he just doesn't stop.
Hey, look, you know what? We're not the team who needs to be saying this. Who do we need to tag?
Exactly.
We're on the opposite end.
Is Brad Hill playing?
Should be. I think so.
Because did he play last week? He did, didn't he? Or was he involved in that?
I think we can.
Let's just see. Let's just make sure we got our facts right.
The injury list. He was. Oh yeah, I don't think he played this week.
No, he didn't play.
Managed.
Yeah. I think Brad Hill could be a thing for Walsh because Brad Hill can run.
Yeah, he's not on the injury list.
No, I think he got dropped.
Like, well, Sandy lost in the reserves. I don't know how well he played it in the reserves. So, you could probably assume matchup wise he will come back in.
Yeah, I mean if Ryder comes back in, Marshall and Ryder on the Koenig and Sauce.
Good matchups.
Yeah, but if one of them go forward, Ryder you'd think would be the one go forward.
Ryder is a very good set shot. He's probably the best in league for ruckman. I always had this thing of ruckman can't kick. He can kick.
Yeah, because he's very coordinated for a ruckman. Very coordinated. So that'll be a test for Kemp. I mean, Kemp will go to Membry, you'd think. Right?
Yeah, that is a huge test for Kemp. Membry, again, contested mark, he's really up there. He will generally not drop a lot of things kicked at him. Kemp's just got to be really physical. And if that's giving away free kicks, I can live with that.
Yeah.
But you really got to test him out.
Because Membry does like to get up the ground as well.
Yeah, he does.
So again, and the thing is about Membry is that he's not overly tall. So it's not as if Max King is going up the ground where you kind of need someone to follow him because he'll mark everything otherwise. Membry, because of the height, you can afford to pass him off to like a Plowman or whoever. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
Will be. Before we end up, predictions.
Oh, God. Carlton, of course, bye. I mean, I'd love to see a statement. I'd love to see 10 goals. But I don't think it'll happen. I think Carlton by 12 points. No, 14 points. It'll be similar to the Sydney Western Bulldogs game, I think.
If I'm giving a prediction based off my footy tip and it's St Kilda, I don't tip us. It's just a consistent thing. Look, based on what we've seen, I would say us by probably no more than 4 goals, no less than 2, anywhere in that range. It depends what St Kilda team turn up.
Yeah, it is really. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this at all.
I can't give. And you know what makes it better is that if we lose, we get to go home at 11 o'clock at night and get home at midnight. So that's what I love about these games late Friday night. They're so great. So better hope we win.
Yeah, but yeah.
Until then,
I think
we'll be back next week still. I think we'll be back next week.
That's all, hopefully. Hopefully.
Always fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Leave your thoughts, opinions in the comments below. And until then, we'll catch you in the next episode.
See you guys.